What's up, everyone? This is Mental Health is True Wealth. I am your favorite autonomy coach, AB, aka your mental health personal trainer, and welcome to the session. So we're going to be discussing letting go. Now, I normally discuss issues that pertain directly to me, but after watching the new show that came out, Betrayl of the Perfect Husband, I'm like, ooh, this needs to be discussed. I thought it was a very great show, and I hope everyone goes ahead and tunes in and catches it. Letting go of a disastership, because I've told y'all before, that's what I call some of those relationships that y'all are involved in, can be difficult as hell for some people. I think losing people early on in life at a very young age, it changed my perspective on losing people. And it didn't make losing people such a great loss. It's like, it's time to cut this one, let's go. It was just a loss at that point. So the show Betrayl, the Perfect Husband, there's this guy named Spencer, and he marries a girl named Jennifer, and they were married for 7 years. They dated while they were in college, and they had this perfect relationship. Jennifer went ahead and broke up with him. He was a year ahead of her. And so he graduated, and then she moved on up, and now she was a senior in college. And so she's like, hey, we got this year difference. You're free. You're out in the world doing you. Let's just go ahead and split, and I'm just going to do my thing. Well, they reconnected, and they wanted to rekindle their love. He's now divorced. And so she's single, and she's like, hey, let's try it. So 7 years of their marriage, it seemed absolutely flawless and perfect. She discussed how he left different notes and all these different things that made him seem like the world's perfect guy. Well, he was perfect until that knock on the door one day. That knock was the police at the door, and he was arrested, and it changed their lives for forever. Crazy part, the story happened literally less than like an hour from where I live. So I was like, ooh. And I remember the story as it played out, but I never really followed the details that well. So I didn't know the story was as deep as it was. So I knew kind of the basics. You know, Spencer was a teacher, and he had ended up having sex with one of his students. And that was pretty much the end of my knowledge. But that documentary actually goes into pretty good depth about the entire story. So Spencer violated one of his students, his marriage, and himself. Now, he was very charming and he was very attractive, but he was also very manipulative. Clearly, he had been making poor choices, and I don't know him personally to say he is a bad person, but it was clear he definitely had some issues, and he probably was a sex addict. Spencer had sex with one of his students. He started to groom her at the age of 15 years old, and then at 16, he started to have sex with her. Her account is very disturbing. When he was arrested, his wife went through his phone and his laptops, and she started to learn that there was multiple women throughout the entire marriage. And so the man that she thought she was married to this whole time, it didn't exist. And the marriage that she thought she had, which was this world's perfect marriage, didn't exist. Now, I'm going to tell everybody, go watch it yourself. But the alarming part to me was the effort she put into this situation. Now, I'm not saying she shouldn't have told her story. Please do. She ended up making a podcast and speaking engagements and all this other things. And that's not what I'm talking about. Where I'm talking about that it was alarming is that during the documentary, she had a chart. Now, I've been cheated on, and there was like some people in there, but I have never created a chart. My sis had a chart with the dates, the women, and putting them in a chronological order so she could understand which women was taking place at this time. And I'm just like, wow, you put a lot of effort into completely dissecting the entire situation. See, people believe relationships can't be counted as a traumatic experience, but who are we to tell someone that the experience isn't traumatic to them? 7 years of her life was a lie, and she found out it was nothing but lies and deception. However, healing is important from these situations. We see breakups online all the time, and Lord know y'all let it be messy. And y'all air out all the details on social media, and I be seeing y'all posting each other's business, and it be a lot. And in this story, she kept talking to him over the years in an attempt to get closure. And sometimes the closure is in their actions. I'm not saying don't seek no closure. If you can have a conversation with this person and get the closure that you need and then move forward and go get the healing that you need, cool. But sometimes that conversation is never going to give you peace. It's not going to give you peace. So I'm saying be at peace with the situation. And if you don't receive the closure that you are seeking, go ahead and learn how to still be able to move forward. Sometimes after a disastership, a counselor or a professional skilled coach is required. It's required. Letting go of a dream that you have manifested in your mind can be difficult. And I'm not saying that that manipulator didn't help you create this dream world, because they absolutely did. Realize that it was a mirage and be at peace walking away from what you thought existed, and know that it didn't. I'm glad to see that Jen sought help and she actually ended up getting a therapist and she moved forward from the situation. I want you to know that after a relationship, it's okay to say you are. So we pour so much into a relationship that letting go of the relationship can be difficult. Don't pretend to be okay. Start moving in a direction to where you're healing and you're actually okay. It's easier and lighter to just heal and move forward. If you have been involved in a disastership, you possibly need help. The issue in the relationship can manifest itself and start to create issues in a new relationship, such as insecurities, lack of trust, lack of confidence. Understandably so, but it's time to heal and let go.